Good morning, students. In the last class we were discussing about the different processes involved in the transformation of fibers into wool. So, here in our country many people they were depending on this industry, that is wool industry, and they are separating the different quality fibers. They are called that is called sorting of wool. So, this sorting of wool, that is good quality fibers are separated from the fleece of the sheep, they are called sorters. They are called sorters, but this that is called sorters. They are called sorters. So, this process is a very risky process, because these people may affected by a bacteria that is called Bacillus anthracis. A bacteria that is called Bacillus anthracis is a bacteria, and that may cause a deadly blood disease that is called sorters disease. It is called sorters disease. So, because in our country many people they were depending on this industry, and this disease is also called an occupational disease. It is occupational disease. Why it is called occupational diseases? Because this type of disease are found in those people they are in touch with this type of, that is they are every day they are in touch with these fibers, that is wools. So, it is also called occupational disease, because that disease came from the nature of that type of job, the nature of the job. So, that is why it is also called occupational disease, because they belongs to the separation of different quality of fibers, that is wool fibers. That is why it is also called occupational diseases. So, that is about the different what are the different steps that we have studied, how we can convert fibers into wool, that we have studied. There are different steps involved in that conversion of fibers into wool. So, last class we were discussing about what is that, how we can convert the fleece of the sheep, rearing of sheep, etc., that we study. In this class we are going to discuss about more about silk, another animal fiber that is called that is silk. We know silk we are obtaining from silkworms, that is from the cocoons of the silkworms. Cocoons, that's covering is called a cocoon. We are obtaining silk from the cocoons of the silkworms, and this silk is a protein. It is made up of protein, and it is made up of animal protein, and this silk is known as the strongest natural fiber. That is, the silk is the strongest natural fiber, and since this silk is made up of animal protein, on burning it gives a burning hair smell, a smell of burning hair. So, since it is it is an animal protein, it gives, on burning it gives a smell of burning hair. So, this silk is a soft, strong fiber, and it is also a shiny fiber. This silk is costly because of its natural shining appearance. Now, the rearing of silkworms, we have studied about the rearing of sheep, rearing of honeybees, etc. The rearing of silk is known as the rearing of silk. In order to get the silk fibers or silk is called a sericulture. It is called a sericulture. The rearing of silk is known as in order to get the silk fibers, that is called sericulture. Now, before going to study about the how we can take this silk from silk fibers, let us discuss about the life cycle of silkworms. Life cycle of silkworms. Silkworm or silk moth, that is the life cycle of silkworms. The first one, the female silkworms or silk moth, they lays egg on leaves of trees. Female silk moth or silkworm, they lays egg on it is a pale yellow eggs, pale yellow eggs on the leaves of trees such as mulberry trees. Leaves on the leaves of mulberry trees, they lays egg. It is pale yellow in color. Then the second one, the worm like larvae, they are also known as caterpillar. Or silkworm. The worm like larvae or caterpillar or silkworm, they hatch out from eggs. In about 2 to 3 weeks. The caterpillar or silkworm, they hatch out from eggs in about 2 to 3 weeks. So and then after that, they will feed mulberry leaves. They will feed leaves and they become bigger in size. And during this stage, during their growth stage, they shed 4 times. They shed 4 times their skin during their growth stage. During their growth stage, they shed 4 times their skin, just like the snakes, they shed their skin. So they also, these silkworms also shed their skin 4 times during the growth stage. And then they also produces a silk in the liquid form. They produce silk in the liquid form, that is produced in their 2 glands that is present in their head. Because silk is produced in the liquid form by the 2 glands present in their head. So female silk moth, they lays egg, pale yellow legs on the leaves of mulberry trees, and then the caterpillars or silkworms, they hatch out from eggs in about 2 to 3 weeks, and during this after that they feed mulberry leaves. And they will grow in bigger size. And during this stage, they shed their skin 4 times. And also they produces silk in the liquid form, and these silk fibers are produced in the liquid form by the 2 glands that is present in their head. Then after that, they reach the next stage of development, that is called a pupa. they reached the next stage, that is called pupa stage. So, you know, pupa stage, when they reach the stage of pupa, what they begins to spinning cocoons. They begins to spin cocoons. When they reach the stage of pupa, they begins to spin cocoons. You know, actually the cocoon is the outer covering of the pupa, because they are protected. The pupa is protected by the cocoon, and from this cocoon we are getting what? Silk. From the cocoons we are getting silk. And then here, now each silkworms, after reaching the pupa stage, each silkworms begins to spin cocoons by spinning their heads, by moving their heads in a particular manner, in a same kind of pattern, that is exactly as 8 digit 8. They move their head in the same pattern, and they are producing what? Silks in the form of liquids, So they produce, when they move their head in the pattern 8, they begins to spin this cocoon, and at that time they will secrete the liquid form of silk. They will secrete the liquid form of silk through the tiny pores in their head. So, you know, I told you that the 2 glands that is present in the head will produce what? This liquid form of silk. So, it will, when they are begin to spin, each silk fibers, each silk moth, they begins to spin their head in the 8 pattern. At that time, through the tiny pores of the head, it secretes what? The liquid form of silk, and when the liquid form of silk is produced, at that time when it is in contact with the air, it solidifies, and then within 2 to 3 days, it completes the formation of cocoon. And this cocoon will protect the pupa. Actually, the pupa that is present inside the cocoon. So, it is the protective layer. Of pupa. Then the 4th stage, after completing when the pupa inside the cocoon, they grow bigger in size, or when their growth is completed, or when it completes their growth, then the adult silk moth comes out by breaking the cocoon, and they will a beautiful silk moth will comes out. So, when the pupa inside the cocoon completes its growth, then it will break the cocoon and it will comes out as adult silk moth. And the adult silk moth, they have very few days in their because they will exist for very few days. They will within few days they will die. So, this is the life cycle of silk moth. Okay, this is the life cycle of silk moth. Next is the rearing of silkworms. We know what do you mean by rearing. So, rearing of silkworms means, to look after the silkworms by giving them proper food, shelter and health care. That is called rearing of silkworms. Now, here silk farm, the female silk moth, they kept in separate linen bags. In silk farm, the female silk moth, they are kept in separate linen bags, and female silk moth, they lays egg 200 to 500 at a time. At a time they may give 200 to 500 eggs. Female silk moth they are kept in separate linen bags, and each female silk moth they may give 200 to 500 eggs at a time. Then these eggs are kept in a perforated cardboard boxes which are placed on a bamboo tray. So these eggs are kept in a perforated, what do you mean perforated? Having holes, that is called perforated. Perforated cardboard boxes which are placed on a bamboo tray, and and that will be placed in a hygienic manner, in a hygienic place, giving proper temperature and humidity, and then these eggs are warmed. By placing in a what we call, that is incubators. These eggs are warmed by placing in incubators, so that the larvae hatch out from the eggs, and and these hatching box are covered with a piece of perforated paper. It is covered with perforated paper, and finely chopped mulberry leaves are spread on it, so that the larvae comes out after hatching, that may feed these leaves, and they may grow in bigger size, and they eat in the day and night, and they become enormous size, a big size. That is, they are kept in incubators because we are giving suitable temperature for the eggs to then after hatching that, when the larvae comes out from the egg, they feed, because we are placed some perforated paper on this hatching box or the tray, and also we spread some finely chopped mulberry leaves. So they will feed these mulberry leaves, and they will grow in bigger size. Then after 25 to 30 days, they stops eating, and then they moves into a separate race that is kept in the bamboo tray. After 25 to 30 days, they will stop eating, and they will move into separate racks that is provided in the bamboo track. And then we can different ticks or rays are arranged in this rack, because they in that racks they will keep or they will make cocoons in that separate rack. Then after that, each silk larvae is converted into a pupa. So this is the rearing of silkworms. Then in the next class we will discuss how the cocoons are converted into silk. That we will discuss in the next class. Okay, have a nice day.